Yeah, well, the who is there's a long list. This is officials, top officials in Russia, companies, entities, obviously, and the economy itself. Starting with the officials, there's a list of 32 Russian officials who are alleged to have been involved in basically meddling in the elections dating back to 2016, Donald Trump's first election, and in the most recent one, 2020. There's also 6 Russian cybersecurity companies that are basically accused of participating, helping basically to hack into U.S. federal agencies' computer networks, 9 U.S. government agencies, and about 100 private firms as well, compromising thousands of government and private computer networks in the U.S. Hence this sort of focus on the security, national security of the U.S. Being jeopardized by all of this. And beyond this, I said it's also targeting the economy. Now, how is it going about this? In the past, we have seen sanctions which often have been seen as a slap on the wrist to Russia. And, it seems like, ages ago now, Donald Trump standing alongside Putin. And when asked about his own FBI's assessment that Russia had meddled in the 2016 presidential election, he basically said, well, President Putin says it isn't Russia, and I see no reason why it should be. So basically, Trump siding with Putin. This is everything about these sanctions are a total reversal of that stance, that tread lightly, go lightly with Russia. Biden is basically saying these are sanctions for Russia's past actions which, as you said at the top of the show, are seen as being aggressive, as being malign, and as being aimed at undermining the U.S. and more broadly, Western democratic interests. So this is, in the Biden's view, sanctions which will take aim at Russia and at its economy, also taking aim at its ability to raise debt on the international markets. That is, its ability to sell its ruble-denominated bonds. That's a big deal. And to basically try to undermine Russia's ability to raise that debt. So this is bigger, more significant than what we've seen in the past. It's still not extremely heavy artillery, but it's big.
Douglas, President Vladimir Putin, who you've mentioned, is it likely that he will just characteristically shrug all this off?
Yeah, it's a great question, Mark, because you're absolutely right. In the past, that essentially has been Russia's response, no matter what the actual consequences on the ground are. Putin has been able, in the past, to hide behind gas and oil revenues. Those have always provided a cushion, albeit they had been lower in recent years, so they weren't as much of a help. Russia also is helped by the fact in the past it hasn't had much public debt. It's run budget surpluses, and that was a deliberate policy in order to buffer itself from these types of international sanctions. It sort of anticipated them. And beyond that, it's run a very, very effective information campaign with Russians, painting the West out as the bandits trying to undermine Russia, not the other way around. And it has basically turned away from imported goods. So, I've been in Russia several times since sanctions, several rounds have been imposed. And what you really see in the supermarkets are Russians turning to domestic products, often domestic products which bear the labels of foreign companies. They're sometimes sort of foreign affiliates in Russia, which seemingly continue to be able to operate. So Russians, in terms of being able to buy their products, aren't really that affected by these sanctions. But obviously, if they do go on indefinitely and oil prices stay low, there is a certain point at which there's a political cost, perhaps, to Vladimir Putin.
And briefly, Doug, is the EU, Europe, expected to follow suit with these sanctions?
Yeah, so far they say they support and stand behind the United States in this latest round of sanctions. Remember, everyone was sort of on board last month in the wake of Alexei Navalny's poisoning, allegedly, many Western countries believe, by the Russian government or operatives working on behalf of the Russian government. Those allegations obviously not substantiated to date, but his poisoning and his imprisonment, he's now in jail, those precipitated sanctions. But so far, Europe, the NATO allies, they have not followed suit specifically with these specific sanctions. These are U.S. sanctions for now, but we might expect Europe to ramp up its own sanction regime against Russia in the coming days, weeks, and months.